And now, says, and I've been looking forward to following up. I had the privilege of talking to Merrilee Kick, I think it was 3-4 years ago, and we did a beer and business, it was called, and we were in literally the back office where they had built this wonderful product demonstration set. It was a brick back wall. It was very cozy. It had these big chairs. And I got to talk to her, and I have been following, and my daughters have been following, because Merrilee Kick doesn't know this. I have been sharing with my daughter saying, you can be whatever you want to be. And Merrilee's been one of my examples because she is succeeding in what has been a traditionally male-dominated industry. And so please welcome Merrilee Kick. How are you?
Hey, I am good. It's so good to see you, Tom.
It's awesome to see you when we got together. And I don't know if you see, let's show the wide shot, show what we have here. It's a little early in the morning, but I'm sitting here with my, don't know if everyone can see them, with Buzz Ballz. If they can't see them, I'll just hold them up this way. If you're not familiar with Buzz Ballz, all you have to do is walk into your favorite wine and spirits store, and they're there. And they're also there in other places. They're everywhere. They're even at the ballpark. Back in Dallas, you would be able to go to the ball game, and there was one that looked like a baseball, and it was at Texas Ranger stadiums. Right. But these are really great. Quick drink in here. You should have had like Easter ones. Maybe communion could have been really much more exciting. Maybe we get more of America going to church if you had the communion version of Buzz Ball. Celebrate Easter weekend. So how are things with Southern Champion and Buzz Ballz? What do you got going?
Wow, it's crazy. We've been growing like a weed. I never thought that it would turn into this, but it did, and I'm grateful for it. We are now selling in all 50 states and 24 countries. Wow. And we're still expanding. We've grown 51% over the last year over year. And we're planning on growing another 50% this year. We've got 650 people and 500,000 square feet of manufacturing space. So one thing that's a little bit different about us is that we're vertically integrated. So we do everything in-house. We make the plastic containers, we screen print them, we manufacture them, we do the batching and prepping and production, and then go help sell it. So it's just great. It's just such a fun job. It's a fun industry.
I love the story you told in this, and we have so many early stage entrepreneurs that watch the PBD podcast, the Valuetainment content, and of course the Biz Doc, yours truly. But can you give a super condensed version of actually trying to find someone to help you with this? And I know there was a key mentor you found in the industry, got you to trade shows and stuff, but you went to China to talk about this because you weren't going to take no for an answer, and you had visualized that this was going to be your brand essence, the Buzz Ball, the container, this was going to be your essence. And so you went to learn about everything, about making these, about spoilage, about things. And it was just such a magic. Can you share real quick the story of going to China because you weren't going to take no for an answer and you were going to find out how to do this? And this is your road to vertical integration, wasn't it?
Right, yeah. So I went everywhere and asked people to help me make it. And I was met with resistance. It's like, no, if you don't have hundreds of millions of units, we're not interested in helping you. And I just didn't have the cash flow to support that kind of volume. So, or the sales, so I had a helper in China that was helping me do it, but I went over there with my son and we found out how the Buzz Balls were made. Didn't know anything about injection blow molding machines or plastics production or how it all worked. Saw some scary things over there in China, but also learned a lot and learned how to create machinery that could do this same thing for us. So yeah, we brought everything in-house. We also learned how to do the silkscreen printing on the containers too. And all of this vertical integration has been key for me because when you have to rely on somebody else to create your product, you're just throwing an extra wrench in your supply chain, and it just gives you less control. So that was one of the key drivers of our business profitability, is being vertically integrated.
That's fantastic. So a lot of businesses wanted to wait out the pandemic. I just got to get through it. Maybe I can get a little bit of What were the loans that you could get from the small SBA?
PPP,
Wasn't it a, it
the
was a special
PPP
class of
loans,
loan?
and there were PPP loans, there were employee retention credits, there were other loans that you could get for a supply chain at the port. They were not really loans, they were almost grants, like free money.
But a lot of people were looking for that, Merrilee, because they were just trying to survive and just get through the pandemic. You've just come off growing 50% in what many people call the out year. 2022 is the year that we kind of got out of most of the pandemic. So you're growing 51% year, which meant that you were not sitting on your hands in 2021 or 2020 when this all started. What was key to working through the pandemic and growing a company during that time and just saying, you know what, damn it, I'm building, because obviously that was your focus. And I've seen you featured at women's and leadership conferences. So I know there was a lot of things that were going on that you weren't giving up. But can you let people know what you did and what you were determined, maybe some learnings and lessons where, again, boy, you know what? Your autobiography could be, I didn't take no for an answer. I didn't take no on the Buzz Ball. I didn't take no on a pandemic. I wouldn't take no for an answer. But what did you do during there that has positioned you such for these back-to-back years of growth?
Well, COVID was no joke. It was terrifying, especially when it first was introduced. Everybody was scared, including me and my entire staff. We were smaller then. But my production team, it's very difficult to run a production team or a manufacturing plant if people don't come to work. And I was told that only essential businesses would be able to stay in business when the COVID started. So, I thought, oh my gosh, I don't know how much cash I can float to keep the place going without doing any production or any sales. So I did my research on trying to figure out what makes a company essential. Calling the police departments, the Chamber of Commerce, the mayor's office. Nobody would tell me what made a company essential. They were like, if you're the police or if you are a healthcare worker. Okay, I got that. But what else, So I figured out that if I made hand sanitizer, that would make me essential. So my whole team came in and we created hand sanitizer. We didn't know how to create hand sanitizer. We Googled how to create hand sanitizer and got FDA emergency approval to produce it. So we gave away $500,000 of booze that was turned into hand sanitizer. And we gave that out to all the lab corps, all the hospitals in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, police departments, the SWAT team, the military, some of our customers like H-E-B, Tom Thumb, Albertsons, etc. We gave it to the convenience stores chains, So that was one of the first steps into how to become essential. And my entire team worked for free. And, my office staff came in and made hand sanitizer. So that was kind of different. I had everybody at work. But what I didn't think about was I've got people at work that have little kids that need to go to school. So I started a school called The Nest, and I hired a teacher certified aide and a TEA certified teacher to man this conference room that I had. And all my employees that had little kids, 1st through 6th grade, would bring their kids, and we would help them get online to their schools, give them a snack, help them with homework until the end of the school day. Because these people that work for me, they don't have nannies at home. They have to make rent at the end of the month if they're going to work, and they don't have anybody to take care of their kids. So we created The Nest, this little school. The other things we did was we kept people in business, kept them going, we gave them bonuses, stay bonuses. We filled their cars with gas. I remember my admin standing out in front of a gas station for the entire day, filling people's cars with gas. We gave away free food. We pulled up 3 reefer trucks at Thanksgiving and gave away turkeys and hams and boxes of food and Krusty's pancake mix and things like that for Thanksgiving, peanut butter, jelly, bread, stuffing, you name it. So a lot of things outside the box that we did to help our people feel like this is a place called home. And, we tried to combat the labor shortages. And then with all of the supply chain chaos, how everything was locked up, we had to pay for people to go get educated to be truck drivers because there weren't any truck drivers. So we taught them how to become CDL certified. Just things outside the box. So that's what we did to keep moving through COVID. And luckily, we didn't have a lot of debt. We have no debt, actually. So that was one of the things that kind of helped us keep afloat. And little did I know that booze is essential. I mean, it is so essential. We were lucky that events turned in our favor.
Well, that's tremendous. And so you had employee loyalty that was like off the charts. And obviously, if you're working, no one's going to look at you and say, hey, can I work from home? Because we also had a time where, and I'm sure you've seen this, because as a woman in leadership in the conferences you were at, I'm sure you've heard from other CEOs who maybe that were more white collar and they weren't like, hey, if you're working on an assembly line, you can't do that from home. The assembly line's here. You can't do that from home, obviously. But who had, well, I can get 15% raise over there and they're going to let me bring my dog to work and I only have to come in 3 days, or it's full remote. And there was a lot of workers who were kind of playing the card a little bit and weren't really, they took the attitude as, well, businesses don't care about me. Well, sure, maybe you can come to that conclusion, but you obviously were playing the cards differently. And it sounds like you had a lot of loyalty because remember the Great Resignation, they were calling it, and people left. Did this affect your business in a more positive way, I assume, when the resignation comes and we're recovering from COVID? Now you've got people that feel much different about their relationship with their job.
I think one thing that's different about us is we're not a services business. We're a product manufacturing business. So people that had services businesses could get away, a consulting business or whatever. They could stay home, and they did stay home. And they are not coming back to work. They have gotten used to this life of working from home and having that freedom. And many of them work 2 jobs. Their bosses don't know that they have 2 jobs going and they're double dipping on that. Some of them have even faked to have unemployment, So, I mean, it's crazy what you could have gotten away with then. But with me, it was a manufacturing and it was do or die. We had to make sure people were here in the office, and we did not allow our employees to work from home, even our office staff. We didn't say, you guys out on the floor and the production floor, you have to be here, but the office staff, you can work from home. Everybody's being in there, and we made everybody get a COVID test and everybody to get a COVID shot to keep everybody safe, because no one wants to work right next to somebody that has COVID. And, those were some hard decisions that we had to make. And we were told that we would get fined if we did not have people that were COVID immunized. So we did make sure everybody got COVID immunized. And then, after that, it kind of fell off after, it became less important. We got kind of herd immunity from COVID. But I think that not allowing people to go home for an extended period of time was probably one of our better things that we did.
Well, and the proof's in the growth. So the growth you just had, 51%. 51%. So that was 22 versus 21.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously they were all ready to go, but what was the preparations like on the sales and the product side through 21 to put you in position to grow? Because you got to have product, you got to have your sales team, you got to have your distribution. All of that has to, if you're making a product, it's not just, it's not an online business where it scales in the cloud. This is physical scaling. There's got to be pallets of Buzz Ballz getting here, there, and everywhere. And there's got to be 51% more pallets so you can grow. What was so good about 21 to set you up to have such a great 22?
Well, luckily for us, the neighboring building came available, so we rented that. and we scaled up. So it's like a constant juggling act, of okay, now I need more people, now I need more warehouse space, now I need more equipment, now I need more people, now I need more product, now and it's constantly bobbling these things, and making sure that they grow at an even rate. So we got more warehouse space. We're actually doing more production, more space, more construction on additional warehouse space, just so that we can grow. The other things we did too is because of the supply chain choke, we started bringing some more stuff in-house, including making the plastic containers ourselves, the preforms, having the resin. And, instead of outsourcing it with our equipment and having somebody else make it, we just decided we were going to learn how to do it. So we have a warehouse that's just full of plastic creation of, manufacturing the Buzz Balls and the Big E's and, learning how to do all that and running these big ass pieces of machinery. They're huge. They're like spaceships. But it's pretty cool to learn and to build these people's knowledges too. Just my employees are growing and learning so much.
I want to ask a more delicate question here because that is, sure. I'm seeing the word, you just had to be flexible and opportunistic, right? Mm-hmm. And you were not going to be dictated to, right? And I agree with that. Many businesses said, hey, you know what? We'll put up plastic barriers, we'll do what we can, we'll have hand sanitizers, you can check for COVID, we'll get home checks here, but you're coming to work. And we're here to work, and we're going to figure this thing out. And it really sounds like it's like that wasn't dictating. It was like, hey guys, if we want a job when this is over, then we got to find a way to keep manufacturing doing things now. And so you made hand sanitizer and other things, and then you didn't create an us and them. The office side of the staff, they were in the office just like the people that were in the physical plant. And that sounds.
And I think we felt good about giving away hand sanitizer. I mean, you don't know how many people called me and said, hey, I'll buy every ounce of hand sanitizer so that I can resell it. And I said, no, this stuff is going away for free. We're giving this away, because it's the right thing to do, because a human crisis is really important. You don't want to make light of it and make a profit off it. It's not like that. It's like humanity is in the balance here, or at least we thought.
Yeah, well, and we saw what Amazon allowed, and I'm saying that out loud, Amazon allowed gouging of hand sanitizer. You could go find people that had bought bulk hand sanitizer at Costco and were turning around, tripling it, and selling it on Amazon, taking advantage of their resources to deliver it. And, I think in the name of the human crisis we were having, perhaps Amazon could have stepped in and helped a little bit. But I applaud what you were doing, because not only is it helping the community, it's what your people feel. Who's coming first? The next person that needs a hand sanitizer is getting it for free. And so it just kind of tells people how you feel about people and how you feel about mankind. And I think what it sounds like is it just develops this different mindset inside the culture of the company.
Our culture is really good. We have a very low turnover rate. And I think people feel good about working here. They like their job. They like coming to work. And I've heard many people say, I don't feel like it's a job. I feel like I'm coming to my second home and it's actually fun. And they don't look at the clock, they're not looking at the clock going, oh my gosh, it's already 10:30, it's not, the day's dragging forever. They hustle through their day, they just hustle. And I never look out on the warehouse floor and see anybody walking slowly. That's that would be the death of a manufacturer. People are hauling, they're working hard.